At 6, we're sitting down with local congressmen Darrell, Issa, and Juan Vargas.
Yes, welcome to you both. I know you were just in the Middle East as part of a congressional delegation. In fact, you just got back hours ago, so thank you for being here. You had a chance to visit Syrian refugee camps. Congressman Issa, I want to ask you the impact that had on you and how you connect that experience to San Diego.
Well, both Juan and I have been to the camps before, but this was the first time we were there together, particularly the Lebanese camp. And obviously with millions of Syrian refugees in the region, looking at it as more than just the local issue of how many can we take here in San Diego, what do we do for them? And I think that's where we gained a lot of insight into how far a dollar goes, what the employment is, what the goals are. And Juan and I both listened to refugees talking about their desire to get back to their country and what is America going to do to make it safe for them to go home.
And Congressman Vargas, this one's for you. What is your position on the recent U.S. action there, both the strikes in Syria and then what the military is calling the mother of all bombs that was dropped there in Afghanistan?
Well, I think the president should come back to us and we should authorize the use of force again or not. I mean, it does seem that we're escalating time and time again without them coming back and having the American people through the Congress decide if we're going too far. Now, a lot of these decisions are being made now militarily. And, you know, that is the appropriate way, I think, to make it once you make a decision that this is where you want to go. Now, the Moab, a lot of Americans are not familiar with it. The reality is that we in Congress have known about this for a long time. We knew that they were positioned forward. We knew they could be used at any time. They hadn't been used until now, and I think it is an escalation. But I do think that the president should come back to the Congress and ask us for the authorization, especially when he starts to do more and more things in Syria, because I think that's outside of the authorization he got in 2001, 2003.
Okay, we were talking about Moab, of course, which was targeting ISIS network of tunnels in Afghanistan. You were in Egypt, not too far from the ISIS bombings at those Christian churches. Can you talk a little bit about what was happening while you were there, and again, the feeling about our fight against ISIS?
Well, you know, we actually went from Egypt, or from Cairo that morning out to the Sinai. So we were going away, as it looked, from what we thought was a safe area out to the forward operating base in the North Sinai. And to be candid, more or less that day we were meeting with some of the more than 500 soldiers that have been out there since the peace accords in the late 70s, American soldiers. But we were also, to be candid, Juan was giving me communion for Palm Sunday. We were with the people who were there practicing their faith on one of our holiest days. But it was quite a shock that not one but two very vicious attacks had occurred against Catholics, against Coptics there. And this is one of the challenges that the Egyptian President Sisi is facing, is making sure that the remnants of the Muslim Brotherhood is not operating, and at the same time dealing with multiple ISIS cells, as they're now known.
And obviously you guys just got back, but Congressman Vargas, yesterday as we covered, children stopped by your office here, delivered some letters for you about the Tijuana sewage spill. What are the next plans with that, in regards to that?
Well, interestingly, Darrell and I are actually going to be there a little bit later. The truth of the matter is the system in Tijuana is decrepit and falling apart. And so there's a long-term fix, and that is they have to upgrade their sewer system. But that's going to take a long time, and certainly they don't have the money to do it right now. We have to take a look at what are some of the interim things that we can do to help that out. So we're actually out there today with a lot of federal officials trying to figure that out, and I appreciate, of course, the help from Darrell. Darrell's been there a lot longer and knows the administration, this administration in particular, a lot better than I do. So, you know, I think it'll be helpful for both of us down there trying to figure this thing out.
We're almost out of time.
Yes.
Congressman Issa, last time you were here, we talked about health care. You know what's happened since then. What do we do now going forward?
Well, sometimes you deal with what's in front of you. Mapping the flows of sewage in through the Tijuana River is what we were doing this morning. At some point, we're obviously going to have to address some of the challenges in the Affordable Care Act, and then go on what I hope is a bipartisan basis to address the cost drivers. The fact is, the cost of health care is what's driving the increases that Americans are seeing, and you can't insure your way out of something cheaply if what it is expensive. And that's our challenge, and is to quit the partisan behavior and start looking at how do we control the cost of healthcare? How do we make healthcare affordable? That's before you figure out who's going to pay for it.
Right. All right. Thank you, guys. We covered a lot of stuff. We really appreciate your time.
Our pleasure.
Thank you both coming so soon after landing as well.
Yeah.